It started on a night nobody at Carter's Auto Repair would ever forget, though at the time, it seemed like nothing more than an act of kindness. On October 14th, just after 9:30 p.m., heavy rain poured across the industrial edge of Millbrook, Ohio. Most businesses had already closed. Streetlights flickered over empty sidewalks, and water streamed through cracked pavement like thin rivers. Inside the dimly lit garage, Daniel Reyes, age 32, wiped grease from his hands and prepared to lock up for the night. Daniel wasn't extraordinary. He lived alone in a small, rented apartment above a laundromat. No family nearby. No expensive hobbies. Just long workdays and quiet evenings. Customers trusted him because he never overcharged, never lied, and never rushed repairs. But honesty wasn't always appreciated, especially by his employer. Victor Hale, the owner of Carter's Auto Repair, was known for cutting costs wherever possible. At 54, Victor believed kindness was bad for business. He watched employees closely and distrusted anyone who worked too soft. That night, Daniel noticed headlights flicker weakly outside the gate. A rusted sedan rolled to a stop near the curb. Steam rose from its hood. Behind the wheel sat a man soaked to the bone. Gray beard, worn coat, trembling hands. He looked exhausted and homeless. The man stepped out slowly. "Sorry," he said quietly. "I know you're closed. My engine just died down the road. I just need help getting it started." Daniel hesitated. Company policy was clear. No after-hours work, no unpaid repairs. But the rain grew heavier, and the man looked like someone who had nowhere else to go. So Daniel reopened the garage. For nearly 40 minutes, he worked under flickering lights, diagnosing the problem: a failed alternator connection. It was simple. A temporary fix would get the car running. The stranger watched silently. "You don't have to do this," the man said at one point. Daniel shrugged. "Everyone needs a break sometimes." When the engine finally turned over, the man smiled, a tired but genuine smile. "I won't forget this," he said. Daniel assumed he never would see him again. He was wrong. Victor Hale called Daniel into his office before opening hours. Security footage played on a small monitor. There was Daniel, reopening the shop, working after hours, letting someone inside. Victor's expression hardened. "You think this is a charity?" he snapped. Daniel tried to explain. The rain, the situation, the man stranded alone. Victor didn't care. "You gave away company time, company electricity, company tools." By 9:15 a.m., Daniel Reyes was unemployed. No warning, no final paycheck discussion. Just a box of belongings and a locked door behind him. Coworkers avoided eye contact as he walked away. For Daniel, it felt humiliating, but final. Until 3 days later. On Monday morning, employees arriving at Carter's Auto Repair noticed something unusual. A black luxury SUV sat parked across the street. Then another, and another. None of them belonged to customers. Men in tailored suits stood nearby, speaking quietly into phones while observing the building. Victor Hale assumed it was coincidence, until two strangers entered the shop asking questions. Not about repairs, about Daniel Reyes. They asked when he worked there, what kind of employee he was, why he left. Victor refused to answer, but unease settled over him. By Wednesday, rumors spread across Millbrook. Expensive vehicles were seen driving slowly past the garage at different hours. Local business owners noticed unfamiliar faces watching the property. Something was happening. No one understood what. That same week, Daniel struggled to find work. Applications went unanswered. Savings ran thin. Then he received a phone call. A calm voice asked if he could come to a downtown office building. No explanation given. Curious and desperate, Daniel agreed. When he arrived, he froze. The lobby was filled with security personnel and sharply dressed executives. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city skyline. Waiting near the elevators was the homeless man. Except now, he looked completely different. Clean suit, trimmed beard, confident posture. The man extended his hand. "My name," he said gently, "is Arthur Whitaker." Daniel didn't recognize it, but the business world did. Arthur Whitaker was a billionaire investor, founder of Whitaker Holdings, known for quietly funding investigations into corporate fraud and worker exploitation. Months earlier, Arthur had begun traveling anonymously after receiving threats tied to a financial crime investigation involving several regional businesses. His broken-down car hadn't been an accident. It was part necessity, part test of character, and Daniel had been the only person who helped him without expecting payment. Arthur explained that during his investigation, Carter's Auto Repair had surfaced repeatedly in reports involving insurance fraud and illegal billing practices. Daniel's firing confirmed something important. The honest employee, Arthur said, was the one punished. Within weeks, federal auditors arrived at Carter's Auto Repair. Records were seized, accounts frozen. Former employees came forward describing falsified repair claims submitted to insurance companies for years. Victor Hale's business collapsed under investigation. Charges followed soon after. And the luxury vehicles everyone saw, they belonged to legal teams, investigators, and corporate partners preparing evidence. Arthur Whitaker offered Daniel something unexpected, not charity, a partnership. He funded a new auto shop under Daniel's management, built on transparency and fair pricing. Employees received benefits. Customers returned quickly, drawn by reputation alone. The grand opening drew attention across Millbrook. Among the attendees were several executives, the same billionaire friends people had whispered about. But Daniel noticed something else. Arthur arrived quietly, without cameras or speeches. Before leaving, he said only one thing: kindness reveals character faster than any background check. Today, Reyes Auto Service stands where Carter's Auto Repair once struggled. Daniel still works long hours, still fixes engines himself, still helps stranded drivers, even after closing time. Because on one rainy night, a simple decision changed 2 lives. And sometimes, the smallest act of kindness exposes the biggest truth of all. You never know who is watching when you choose to do the right thing.